Joining us right now is Alain Desbiens, Director of BMO Exchange Traded Funds. Alain, it's really great to be here with you.
Hello, Pierre. Nice seeing you in Montreal.
Again.
Yes, for the second year.
Yes. Alain, it's been quite a run for exchange traded funds. From last year to this year, there's been quite a significant change in the number of issuers and the number of ETFs available. And the question that comes up is this an opportunity or is this a challenge?
Well, in life, in any business, you look at the challenge and you can transform that into the opportunity. It's funny that you're asking that because here in Montreal today, we're celebrating the 10th year of the BMO Exchange Traded Funds.
Oh, congratulations.
And there's not that much people that knows that that division was born from a challenge. Remember the financial crisis?
Right.
At the time, Barclays that owned iShares sold iShares to BlackRock. And the Canadian team that did basically all the ETF within iShares from 1999 to 2008 migrated in 2009 to create the BMO ETF brand.
Okay.
So that's a good example about threats, about challenge that we can transform into an opportunity. And today in Montreal, during the second edition of InsideETF, we've opened the Canadian stock market celebrating the 10th year of BMO ETF. So that's all good. We're great. We're feeling great about the accomplishment. Since 10 years, I mean, we started from nothing in the world to top 20. We're number 2 now in AUM, number 1 in net sales. So now in 2019, there's 36 providers in Canada. There's more than 700 ETF. If you had the .U unhedged, hedged version of those baskets, we're probably in the north of 800, 850. And we're now at 178 billion. I think this is a challenge, but I think for all the providers, all the wholesalers, all the ETF specialists, that's also an opportunity. But it's really important that you understand what you stand for. So as an example, since day one, servicing for us is key. And servicing is the only thing that we do control. We don't control the market.
Right.
Sometimes you've got a great timing when you're launching an exchange traded funds. But what is really, really important for us is the servicing. That helps us create the opportunity. First, servicing maybe around the solutions. BMO ETF, it's really clear, has been built on 4 pillars. The core, the fixed income, the innovation, the smart beta. So if you're a provider, if you're a specialist, well, you need to be able to articulate that to the advisor community. This is really, really important.
Well, there's a very steep learning curve, right?
Indeed.
I mean, learning about these things is really the biggest challenge right now. There's so many tools available. How do you use them? When do you use them? What's the right situation?
At least 2 to 4 times per year across Canada, we do 1-day full education around exchange traded funds. And during that time, it's really important. We've got people from the PM team, people from the product team, people from sales, from marketing, from service, that tries to listen, articulate, and educate the investors and the professional managers. This is really important as much for the institutional than on the retail side. Also, well, I don't think we're replaceable by call center. So, I mean, we're 10 ETF specialists across the country. We're working with 20 wholesalers, generalists, and 5 institutional teams to speak, educate around exchange traded funds. So, challenge is a lot of voices, but again, there the opportunity is know what you stand for, what are the pillars on what your brand resides, how can you articulate that, and 2 of the things that I think I spoke with you last year is website too. You need to be able to have a library of information. We've got 2 of the best websites, I would say, of the industry, the BMO ETF website.
Yeah, it's a terrific resource.
But mostly the BMO ETF dashboard. That one is full of information around the industry, around trades, around reports, white papers, monthly trades, quarterly trades. So institutional point of view, retail point of view, more and more. I think the advisors wants to see what is the institutional is thinking. So on the BMO ETF dashboard, you've got both views on that website, the institutional voice on ETF and the retail voice on the ETF, and even the professional investors.
Right.
So challenge, yes, but opportunity, certainly.
The tools are all there, and I think the really big question is, given especially where we are in the cycle today, I think it's probably realistic to say that now investors need these tools that have been made available, and it's really up to advisors to find where to make use of those tools.
You do help
against downside.
You do help. Advisor analysts do help, in doing interviews, trying to educate the people with several of the players today. I think we tend to forget to refer the people also on the CETFA website, the Canadian ETF Association website. There's tons of information around education, PowerPoints, industry news, industry statistics. So this is really key to go there. But again, like if I look at our firm, what we try to do is 3 guides. Basically, the Understand ETF 101. So this is for the investors. So at least for the advisors, they can educate their clients with that piece. And we've got a piece for the advisors and the institutional, what we call the BMO ETF Understanding Part 2, which is all about what is your methodologies, what is the indexing you're using, how do we create fixed income, how do we do sampling. There is a lot of the players that have something robust around this. So I think the advisors should partner with their ETF specialists around this. We've got a lot of tools, a lot of solutions, and a lot of white papers, single stuff to help the investors to understand what basically the message that the advisors are trying to give them. And after 9-10 years in the market, as we know right now, I think also we need to give the people monthly trades and quarterly trades. You would be surprised to see how much the investment community, institutional, retail, and the professional investors wants to know, what are you thinking now at this stage? So I think this is also timely to put on the dashboard something that we call the monthly trade, where some BMO exchange traded fund PM share their views, but we invite also people externally, like this month is John Vialou. So each month we're having someone internally and someone externally from BMO to share their point of view, and how can you articulate that point of view with a trade. On a quarterly basis, we've got Alfred Lee that our strategist. He shares his point of view for his quarter. So
we publish John Vialou on a daily basis.
So he shared his view right now. He likes high income generator, like our cover call. So we explain it. We translate that in English and French. So we think we can speak to everyone from coast to coast. Yeah. This is also really important right now.
Yeah. See, that's a really, it's one thing to have, you guys have great solutions. I think the other really significant challenge is helping the advisor to get their clients on board with these ideas, because some of them are complex. Some of them aren't, but some of them are complex in terms of being able to explain them, how they work, how enhanced income or how covered calls work, for example.
But there's documents explaining the basic 101.
Yeah. And you guys have done
we've got tons of that.
You guys have done a terrific job of sort of demystifying covered calls. Yeah,
educate.
Absolutely.
And right now on the website too, we've got tools where professional investors and advisors can compare any F-class mutual funds to all the exchange-traded funds in Canada, not only BMOs, but all the industry could be compared on the basis of F-class. So again, we need to bring more of those portfolio proposal. So spoke to you about this last year. I think the tools need to be more robust. Service is key. It's going to be a challenge if you don't have a service, if you cannot articulate your personal value proposition, if you don't have tools. But if you've got that, right now is such an opportunity. ETF is still less than 3% of the Canadian market.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's the mutual fund is still 10 times bigger, but I think there's a need, there's a wish from the investment community, both on the institutional and retail, to know more and to give them more value-added tools, and tools also that are simplified so that they can position that with their clients.
Yeah. Alain, as usual, it's a pleasure to talk to you. You're a terrific resource.
Thank you.
And anybody who's already dealing with you knows that.
Let's say that the passion at BMO Exchange Traded Fund team is still there. Right now, after 10 years, we've reached 56 billion. The goal is to go for 100 billion into, I would say, 2025. But the main thing for us is listen, educate, and help the client and service the clients across Canada. Thank you so much to be here for a second year at InsideETF in Montreal.
Pleasure. Every success, Alain.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you.